were raising your children when they were younger didn't have such a clear confidence, and now they're older? Is that, I mean, it's obviously much harder. How do you reframe their...
Well, first you have to be convinced yourself. Obviously now you can't just demand, but on the other hand, they're old enough to be reasoned with. So now you take the attitude of, I can't tell you what to do, but you're supposed to honor your parents, like any other mitzvah. So you're old enough to decide for yourself, but make the right decision, because the right thing is to honor your parents, just like keeping kosher and like keeping Shabbos.
What age is that?
Any age. If you haven't done it before, I mean, if it wasn't done in childhood,
They're 10.
yeah, you got to talk to them.
You have to reason.
Yeah.
Can't demand.
You can't demand because the habit and the nature or the relationship has already developed where the kid has his own opinion.
Do you say you made a mistake? Because your fault, a little, you know.
A little, yeah.
A little bit.
We can handle a little guilt. No.
It's going to compromise it. Or it shows them that you are actively thinking about this. This is something that you want to do for them. It's for their own benefit. And you're owning up to your...
Why, listen. Why would you say for your own benefit? You see, there's a... Why would you say that? I mean, everybody would say that, but why?
Because it is my job to raise you to be a good person. And this is, and to have your shemai, and to have, and this is part of the package. And this is an area where I wasn't focusing on that,
Yeah.
or I wasn't clear about it, and now I.
But if you were telling him that certain food is not kosher and that he shouldn't eat it, would you think of saying for your benefit? What does for your benefit mean? First of all, who says it's for his benefit? Who says the mitzvahs are for your benefit? You see, you're almost...
Apologize.
Yes, you're begging. Like, please do it for your own sake. What's wrong with just a mitzvah? So again, this psychological stuff keeps creeping in where it doesn't belong. It's like saying, you know, if you would honor me, we would get along better and we would have a better relationship. What happened to the mitzvah? In other words, why is the mitzvah aspect not compelling? Now, if I tell him it's a mitzvah, he's not even going to listen. Why is that assumption? What? In some way, you almost don't want him to do it for his own benefit, because it's not right. So if he decides he's going to do it for his own benefit, not so good, not so good. So everything is for his benefit. What's next? He can steal for his benefit. Too much psychology here, you know? Too much personality. Certain things are simply objective. Let me tell you this story. About years ago, a guy called me. He's a minister, a pastor, I think in the Lutheran seminary. He wants an appointment. He wants to come talk to me. He's in his 70s. I was in my 20s. He comes over to Chabad house. He's the Hebrew scholar at the seminary. And he wants to know, what does the word kadosh mean? I actually went to his office once. He has a mezuzah on his door. He has a Hebrew Scrabble. He's playing Hebrew Scrabble on his desk. So he's the Hebrew scholar in there. So he wants to know, what does the word kadosh mean? I said, holy. He said, I know that. I think I am. I know that. But there must be more meaning than that. And I'm getting very suspicious that for this you needed a meeting, you had to make an appointment to ask me what the word kadosh means. Anyway, we talked a little bit, and all of a sudden he starts to cry. I was very uncomfortable. A grown man. What in the world is going on? See, basically, to make a long story short, he said like this: all my life I have devoted to teaching the Word of God as a missionary. I risked my life for 30 years in jungles to teach. I got too old for that, so I came here, became a teacher. And I am miserable. And now I am doing the same thing to my students, and I think it's wrong, and I want to quit. What he's talking about is, after devoting his life to doing good and risking his life, he doesn't know, when he wakes up in the morning on any given day, he doesn't know, am I good or am I no good? And now he's doing it to his students. He's going to tell them how they have to do this, have to do this, and in the end, so am I good? No good? Am I going to hell? Don't know. So I said, why are you coming to me? You have your teachers, your authorities. He says, I went to my teacher, and he said, I know what you're talking about. I haven't had a good night's sleep in years. So I said, you know that there are 7 commandments. If you do them, you're good. If you don't do them, do them. If you're missing in one of them, he says, you mean like objective commandments? Like, do this, you're good? Doesn't depend on how you feel and whether you're inspired and whether you... No, if you do it, you're good. He says, that's brilliant. Good morning. We gave them to you and you threw them away. There's no need to get all confused and wrapped up in the feelings and the opinions it is so powerful and so sane. It's pashut sanity. Yes or no, right or wrong. Children need that more than they need our amateur psychological bumbling.
The problem is when we don't know. Is when we're so caught up in the psychological bumbling ourselves.
A woman came to Beis Chana. She became a Baal Tshuva, and she met a Jewish boy, her first Jewish boy, and they're thinking of getting married, but he's a Kohen. He's a Kohen. And she doesn't know if she's allowed to marry a Kohen. So she asked the rabbi where she lives, and he was like, didn't want to turn her off. So he told her it's complicated, I have to think about it. So she came to Beis Chana, and she asked me, can I marry? So I did the same thing. I said, you're growing, you're changing, he's just growing, you're both new to Yiddishkeit, you don't know where you're going to end up. Now is not a good time to be thinking about marriage. She says, everybody gives me, just tell me if it's wrong, it's wrong. If no is no. I was so embarrassed. Like, you underestimate Jews. Anyway, so it's become literally like a disease that we can't talk straight anymore. So the first thing is stop reading books. Stop with the child raising advice.
Stop what?
That's
stop the drama. Okay.
that's not what you need. You need to raise Jewish children. And that is not complicated. You're not allowed to sit in your father's chair. That's the chair. Put a little string around it to identify it. That's the chair, that's the place. You don't ever, ever sit there.